This video openly discusses the topic of anxiety, mental health and well-being. If that's a topic you are likely to find triggering or distressing, please be kind to yourself and skip this video. Take care out there, everyone. It's Mental Health Awareness Week in the UK, and this year the theme chosen by the Mental Health Foundation is that of anxiety. It's a great opportunity to consider how we support mental health as a community, and to share our experiences and thoughts on how we manage our own anxiety that may be of benefit to others facing similar challenges. Last year, we talked about the role board games can play in supporting positive mental health. It is one of the most personal videos we have ever made on the channel, and I definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't already. But as anxiety came up more than once during that video, this year I want to flip the discussion and consider what steps we as a community can take to encourage and support those of us that are affected by mental health issues. With seemingly more events, clubs and tournaments every year, tabletop gaming has never been more popular or more diverse. But as our hobby matures, so must our consideration of those in our community that may wish to take part but may find such experiences more of a challenge. In this video we will ask the question, are your gaming events anxiety friendly? And if not, what more could you do to change that? And let's be clear, this is not a problem that is isolated to a small number of our community. A recent survey carried out by the Mental Health Foundation found that a quarter of adults reported that, whether some or all of the time, they felt so anxious that it stopped them from doing the things they wanted to do, with 6 in every 10 adults feeling that way at least some of the time. Whether you knew it or not, you have almost certainly played a game with someone who has suffered or continues to suffer from anxiety or another mental health condition. Furthermore, however unlikely it seems, you may find yourself in that position in future even if you have never experienced such feelings to date. So all of us within the hobby should be striving to make our spaces more welcoming and less triggering. All it takes is the will to make small changes and a little bit of forethought. In truth, any step you take to make your event more anxiety-friendly will have its genesis at the planning stage, and so in a way this whole video is about such preparation. But don't underestimate the difference thinking about such issues at the very start of your event planning can make to those suffering from anxiety and other mental health conditions. When choosing your venue, for example, try to look at the venue from the perspective of those with mental health issues. Will you have sufficient space on the day for the size of event you are planning? Are you able to set aside quiet or casual breakout areas that allow players to step away from the action? Anyone that has been in a busy gaming tournament or packed convention hall will know how loud and cramped such events can be. There is a certain amount of noise and chaos and social interaction inherent to tabletop gaming, and it goes without saying that not every event can be made suitable for every person. But if, at the very least, you have an understanding of the venue's advantages and limitations, you will be able to faithfully convey those when you publicise the event and enable people to take decisions as to their own well-being. Consider also the layout of your event. Can you arrange gaming tables in such a way as to allow clear and easy exit? This of course helps players to make a surreptitious getaway if they become overwhelmed, but it may also help them avoid needing to do so, as it reduces the risk that people will feel confined in the event space. The timings for your event and, if applicable, the number of rounds you intend to include during the day are also things to consider carefully. Planning clear breaks between each round in a tournament, for example, and making sure that these occur, can make a big difference to those for whom such events are more of a challenge. Breaks create an ideal opportunity for players to step out and get some air, or to find this quiet space or otherwise practice mindfulness and other techniques they may have for managing their anxiety. Often there will be pressure to speed up the round turnover. People will be keen to finish sooner so that they can travel home earlier, but if you plan your event effectively and keep players to time, then there's no reason why small breaks should significantly disrupt the day. If you have so many players that more rounds are needed, one way to deal with this is to run 2 parallel tournaments to reduce time pressure on the day. Another reason to allow such breaks is it gives players the opportunity to drop out of further rounds if desirable. Whilst this can be disruptive to the round structure of tournaments, you should never act negatively towards someone bowing out, whatever the reason given. And having a few extra stewards around that can slot into any empty matches so that opponents don't miss out is a great way to keep the flow of the day going and keep such decisions free from embarrassment. How you pitch your gaming event is going to be at least as important to those in your community that suffer from anxiety as the measures you take to assist them, so take the time to provide as much information as you can when you advertise the event. For starters, what can players expect? Is this a huge convention with hundreds of people packed into a cramped gaming hall, or a quiet board game night with half a dozen people? If you are running a tournament, is this a casual event where relatively new players will be supported with rules and enjoy some light-hearted games as part of their first step into the tournament scene? Or is this a highly competitive affair where players are likely to be more aggressive and less merciful in their play? Being clear about these points will alter the players' expectations and attitudes on the day. If you are clear, then players that would prefer a different style of event can opt out without stress. All of the decisions you have taken during your planning of the event should feature too. What are the expected timings of the event? What is the venue like and how busy does it get? What facilities are available? Show the players what you have considered so that they can make an informed decision about whether your event will be a safe space for them or be too much. While you're at it, take the time to be clear about what people should bring to the event. Will they need a copy of the game, or will that be provided? Will miniatures need to be fully painted, not painted at all, or will you perhaps have a few spare factions to share with new players if needed? A simple list of components, remember to bring your own tokens and a pen and paper, that sort of thing, can be really helpful for anxious players preparing for their first event, although ideally have a few spare bits around to help players that may have forgotten something too. Remember, there are no wrong answers to any of these questions if you are clear and honest at the outset. If you want to run a super competitive event where only fully painted armies are allowed, that's up to you, but give people enough information up front to make their own decisions about whether that's the event for them. There's a lot of information you could potentially include, so if it won't all fit on that Facebook event or flyer, include a link to your tournament pack where you can set out everything more clearly. While you're at it, include some way for players to contact you if they have further questions. As a minimum, a DM facility or email address that you are monitoring regularly, but if you're a hobby store or a major event, it would be even better to provide a number players can call or text if they are more comfortable reaching out in that way. Advertising events clearly really is the bare minimum any event organiser can do to support their community. This information will set the tone for the event and work to ensure that everyone has a good time, having had a clear idea from the outset what to expect. Ensuring a clear understanding of the sort of event you are running, the expectations and social contracts you anticipate, is in everyone's interest, not just those who are anxious. Just like every ringmaster since the first circus, make sure that when the big day rolls around, you are ready to give your opening address to the players. Getting everyone to gather at the start of the event is a great opportunity to reinforce how everything will run, the layout of the venue, where toilets and refreshments can be located, and generally put everyone at ease as to the logistics of the day. It's a good opportunity to set expectations about matters such as noise that may have gone overlooked, and encourage players to be considerate of those around them when they get into the spirit of their games. But there are other triggers to consider and handle sympathetically. Food and refreshments are a possible source of anxiety, so whilst strongly encouraging everyone to venture to the local pub together may seem like it's just the sociable thing to do, this is worth avoiding if you're not positive doing so will not cause anxiety for any of the players. Having food set aside where those that want it can seek it at their leisure, albeit with consideration of specific dietary requirements for those that need it, may be a better option than anything that draws attention to those who may prefer to eat away from the group or not at all. Photographs are also a potential trigger for people, so handle them considerately. First of all, do you really need to take photographs? Sure, it's nice to put up a few snaps of gaming tables and people winning trophies, encourage others to come to your events in future, but the reality is not everyone will be comfortable with this. You might alternatively consider asking people to let you know their preference so that you can account for this on the day without anyone feeling awkward. At the very least, players should be asked for their consent to be photographed, and phrasing this question in such a way that it does not apply pressure is important. Likewise, your social contract as to player conduct on the day should make it clear that players should not take photographs of other players, or indeed their models, without asking for permission. A final consideration is what support you, as the organiser, will have to ensure your event runs to plan on the day. Even for small events, there is a great benefit to the organiser to have a supporting cast of people, helping smooth everything along, who I will collectively refer to as stewards, but who are by no means restricted to professional or formal gaming events. These are the people who will help handle the questions on the day, be that rules queries or questions about the event or venue or timings, and generally assist the organiser to keep the event on track. Often unpaid enthusiasts, good stewards are worth their weight in gold, and they, along with the organiser, can make a big difference to those suffering from anxiety. Ideally, they should be people that are confident in de-escalating any disagreements that may occur, so the overall mood in the room stays friendly. Additionally, make sure to talk your stewards through any arrangements you have made for those suffering with anxiety, so that they can help you make those steps known to those who may come to need them during the event. There's also no reason why you as the organiser or one or more of your stewards couldn't go further still and train as a mental health first aider, just as you might take a physical first aid course, so that you can better help those that need support on the day. You could even identify such individuals with a special coloured lanyard so that they are easy to pick out from those that need them. Whilst I've no doubt this may seem a stretch for those running very small events, although I still think it's something to consider, larger events such as national tournaments and expos have absolutely no excuse not to take such steps, any more than it would be excusable to not have a first aid provision on site. And yet, like so many of the steps mentioned in this video, we still rarely see them within our hobby. It's time that we as a community did more to change that. To be clear, we are not mental health experts, and the content of this video is not a substitute for professional or medical advice. It is a well-intended attempt to consider some steps that may help those suffering with anxiety through the lens of the tabletop gaming events with which we are familiar. Everyone is different, so everyone needs a slightly different set of support mechanisms to assist with anxiety. More importantly, not everyone who experiences anxiety is comfortable talking about such a personal issue, especially to strangers. So if you are someone who is not currently suffering from anxiety, consider being an advocate for those that are less fortunate. Reach out to your favourite gaming conventions or your local tournament organisers and ask what steps they are taking to be supportive of those with anxiety or other mental health conditions. Thinking about how we might support those suffering from anxiety isn't about unwieldy changes to our favourite events to accommodate a tiny minority of players. Anxiety can affect anyone at any time. It's easy to look the other way and make excuses. The truth is that it would take only minimal adaptation, openness and forethought to make the majority of hobby events a friendlier place for those suffering with anxiety. Whether you are the organiser, sponsor, steward or visitor at a tabletop event, big or small, you can play a role in the change you want to see in the hobby. Even if you change just one thing about your next event, that's one less barrier for someone to overcome. As ever, we would love to continue this discussion in the comments and perhaps learn even more ways events could be made better. Please let us know what has helped you manage your anxiety when hobbying, or what measures you've seen other events take to support anxious players. However, please consider your own mental health and those of other viewers when doing so. We will include a link to the Mental Health Foundation website in the description, where you can learn more about anxiety, get involved in Mental Health Awareness Week and donate to worthy causes. Lastly, just a reminder that there are a wealth of resources both in your community and online that can assist you or point you in the direction of help if you are suffering from anxiety or any other mental health condition. However impossible healing may seem, consider reaching out to a doctor or medical health professional if you are struggling. As always, dear viewers, we invite you to work hard, play better, but also, and above all, take care out there.